A few days ago, Stellar Blade got an update for the summer, which normally I wouldn't cover updates. You know, it's like, oh, we got some bug fixes. What a big, huge thing to talk about. But along with that, because that is here, we also actually got some new nano suits, so new cosmetics, and a new small miniature location along with something else. So I wanted to talk about this for a couple minutes because I do really like it. I think it's cool. Again, this is free, by the way. So like every other update so far, it's just been free. And that obviously goes to show the appreciation and the effort being put in by Shift Up and the staff there in order to celebrate the game, give Eve an even more fun experience, you know, some bodacious beach bod outfits, and to kind of celebrate the players and the success of the game. But there are a couple of small negatives that come along with it. So before we hop more into this, if you enjoy the video, you want to leave a like, subscribe for more content, let me know what you think. I asked this question in a previous Stellar Blade video, but I am interested again, just in case anybody didn't answer. What's your favorite Stellar Blade nano suit, or outfit, I should say, in the game so far? I am having a hard time deciding mine. Cyber Magician is up there, but these new beach ones are certainly, they're something else too. But let me know in the comments down below. Now, with this update, there's not actually a lot of new stuff in the game, but one thing it does add is this miniature little area at the Oasis, and it changed the Oasis background music for a limited time. Now, this is kind of where the negative comes in, because this is a summer update, but it is billed as a limited time update, a limited time event, should I say. Now, when it comes to FOMO, or video games in general FOMO, or really any of that stuff, it's already frustrating. It's even more frustrating when it becomes a single player game, especially one that I love. But what is confusing about this is kind of how limited it is, because this does also come with 2 nano suits, which are supposedly permanent in the game. These are 2 new bikinis that honestly, they look really great on Eve. I would tell you all the great things about them in extreme detail, but I don't think YouTube would really appreciate that very much. YouTube, when it comes to monetization, is probably more prudish than a Catholic nun. So I will say that these are kind of more high-riding outfits, especially down by the legs. Again, I'll let the camera work speak for itself. I think they look really great. I know, again, we're not escaping the Stellar Blade is just Gunnar material allegations with this, but I don't really think that Shift Up or the players or anyone really cares or takes that kind of stuff seriously. I mean, IGN France is still mocked into the ground for the one moron who said that Eve looked like they were designed by a person who had never seen a woman before. When it comes down to it, I think that this update is fun. It is very small. The outfits are sexy, they're cute, they're fun, they're just more content for people to enjoy, and the little area in the game is just what it is. A tiny little area in the game that adds a little chair, actually 3 of them, but you can only use 1 at a time, because as amazing as Eve is, and as much as my fantasy would exist this way, unfortunately, unlike Dr. Manhattan, Eve cannot manifest in multiple places at once, so you can only sit in 1 of these chairs at a time, and it just adds a new interactable. You can't really mess with all of these floaties and, what would you say, like inflatable things in the small little Oasis area, but there are a bunch of them there. There's a piece of pizza and there's some other ones. Regardless, what I will say about this update is that it seems to me just a little bit of guesswork here, and educated guesswork from other players on Reddit and other places as well, that this is not limited time in the sense that it's going to be deleted from the game, but that it is limited time in the sense of probably seasonal, as in like it will pop up during the summer every year. That's kind of what the guess is right now. Hopefully this doesn't age terribly and they patch it out of the game for some reason, but that would be a very dumb thing to do, and it would be the first, I think, in honestly that they've done for free updates as far as making a dumb decision. So I highly doubt that that's what's going to happen. It seems to me like this is more like an Animal Crossing type thing, or like a game with seasonal events where they're just in the game. Maybe it's a single player game and they just pop up at that time of the year. One of the negatives, though, other than it being limited time, no matter which version of limited time it is, because I really do think it's good to be able to access all content at any time, is the fact that there still is no photo mode. Now, someone's going to say, well, why don't you have patience? Why don't you slow down in the photo mode? The thing is, though, that when you're adding in a chair and sexy swimsuits, other than just having them to wear around during the fighting, I mean, come on, we know what they're there for. They're there for eye candy. They're there for the photo mode. They're there to be enjoyed by the players, right? Who like Eve. The problem is that because the photo mode isn't done as of recording this in late July, heading into August 2024, these kinds of updates are very limited in scope of what they are, and they don't really matter that much because there's less interactivity with them than you would think that there would be. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It's something where sitting on a chair in a sexy swimsuit is fun, but I think we know that kind of like something like Dead or Alive, it's pretty much something that's pointless unless you had some way to interact with it and do something with it. It doesn't give you a stat buff, it doesn't do anything, and with no photo mode, there's really way less interaction with all of this stuff. You know, if there was a photo mode and you could pose Eve in different ways, you can maybe even push one of these floaties out on the water, lay down on it, do some beach pictures, you know, stuff like that. I would say, okay, well, this makes sense. But as is, this feels like it's part of something that the bones aren't even there for. Like, listen, I see the vision shift up. I see the vision. But we don't even have a crappy photo mode yet, let alone a good one. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't patch in like an in-works photo mode with limited functionality, but the ability to actually free range and free move the camera and just do that with a couple filters and stuff like that, and then just call it a day and then make it better. But I guess my point is, instead of doing that, they're what I would call chasing perfectionism on the photo mode. It has to be patched in either way. There is no photo mode on disc. There was no photo mode at launch. At this point, when you're adding in little things like this and new cosmetics, I guess I would rather have a bare bones photo mode that gets better over time than just have a perfect one in 3 or 4 months, because in the meantime, it makes content like this feel a little less, you know, it's like there's not a big point to interact with it. That said, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I really do like it. I like any game that adds stuff for free. You know, in a world of microtransactions, nickel and diming, anti-consumer policy, and companies that are too big to fail, seeing games and game staff and creators do this kind of thing, I think is something that is a great sign, and I think hopefully a good influence on the video game industry, because it goes to build a lot of good faith with the people who are actually buying your games, and honestly, in a lot of ways, end up paying your bills, because those are the people who are either going to come back for a sequel or another game you make, or they're not going to. And unfortunately, in the world we live in, that means the game studios shut down. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. Again, let me know what your favorite nanosuit is. What do you think about this update? Do you think there's a point to it? Do you think it's pointless? Do you like it? Do you not? What do you think about photo mode? What do you think about what I said? I'm interested in all that. If you want to support our channel, speaking of a game that is online and not single player, you can always use our Fortnite code DJAY123. You can also use that same code on our website, cosmobunny.shop, where we sell all kinds of comic book and manga repurposed resin pieces. So what we do is we take art from comics and manga that can't be sold. These are damaged, and we actually turn them into new, awesome art for your home. Coasters, keychains, trays, and more. These are great things, very, very creative, and my wife Jill makes handmade beaded jewelry over there as well. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.